Welcome, fellow explorers, to the deep dive. Many of us, approach meditation with this mix of hope and maybe a bit of worry. Like, am I doing it right? Is my mind just too wild? Today, we're diving into some really fascinating source material you've shared, all about meditation. Our mission really is to unpack some common pitfalls, figure out what real insight actually means, and maybe find a simpler way to understand our own minds. Get ready for some potential aha moments, because this might just shift how you think about your practice.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The sources jump right into this key difference between just concentrating really hard and actually understanding something deeper.
Yeah.
We're going to explore why focusing only on, say, concentration can sometimes lead you down the wrong path, and how this idea of a simple mind, as they call it, is actually crucial.
Okay, let's dive into that. The sources start with this really important point. Developing one-pointed concentration, shamatha, right?
Yeah.
That it's not enough on its own for, full enlightenment.
Exactly.
Great for the mind, makes it clearer, more stable. Like
Yeah.
sharpening a pencil, you said.
That's a good analogy. But shamatha is missing that vital ingredient: penetrating insight, or vipassana.
The what to right part.
Precisely. Nagarjuna, a really revered figure in Buddhism, puts it very starkly. He says, anyone who has not realized that the nature of reality is emptiness will not attain liberation.
Wow.
These will continue to wander in samsara, and samsara, for listeners, is that cycle of suffering, rebirth, driven by not understanding things clearly.
So without that insight, that vipassana, you're just stuck.
You remain trapped, according to this view. Diligent shamatha practice is vital, a foundation, but it's not the specific practice of Mahamudra, which aims for that direct realization of the mind's nature.
Okay, so that makes sense why people struggle. Maybe they haven't got the full picture, or they can't quite tell the difference between just being calm and actually seeing clearly. So what are the big obstacles that pop up, the common tripwires?
Well, the sources really focus on two main hindrances when you're just working on concentration: mental laxity and excitement.
Laxity and excitement, okay.
Laxity isn't just feeling a bit tired. It can mean your focus object fades, your senses get dull.
Like the volume turning down?
Kind of. Or the mind can even sink into this state, almost like being unconscious, losing all clarity. They compare it to clear water freezing into murky ice.
Murky ice. That's not ideal for meditation.
Yeah.
So it's more than just a bit foggy.
Much more. And then there are those states that feel, well, quite peaceful, right? The sources mention this neutral state of mind. It has some clarity maybe, but no real insight.
Yeah, I've definitely been there thinking, hey, it's quiet. Success. But maybe it wasn't.
Exactly. That neutral state, while maybe calm, isn't the goal either. It doesn't look about positive results or any real understanding of reality. There's a quote from the Introduction to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. A mind that cannot comprehend the nature of reality may attain a transient state of absence, but such a state does not lead to liberation.
So a quiet but unknowing mind won't get you there.
An inactive mind can't lead to enlightenment, according to these texts.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Mistaking the gap between thoughts for meditation. That tiny pause.
Yes, the famous gap.
I've definitely chased that gap, thinking, there it is, got it.
We all have, probably. But the sources are really clear. That's not true meditation either.
Oh.
They describe it as more like losing consciousness for a split second, or being drunk or in shock, just temporary breaks in mental function, not insight.
So not the goal, just another potential distraction, especially if you're aiming for serious practice.
Right. Gampopa warned against deliberately blocking thoughts, saying it only leads to incomplete awareness.
Okay. What about the good stuff? Bliss, clarity, no concepts buzzing around. That sounds amazing. Surely that's progress.
They can be very pleasant, absolutely. But again, the caution is, don't mistake these experiences for penetrating insight itself.
Why not?
Because they're often unstable, they come and go, and crucially, they lack genuine clarity about the nature of reality. You could have a bright, clear feeling, but if you don't understand emptiness, it can still be misleading.
Like having a really clean window, but still looking at a confusing landscape.
Something like that. The clarity isn't grounded in understanding.
Man, it feels like there are pitfalls everywhere. Okay, one more big one you mentioned. Treating emptiness itself like a thing, a concept you grasped.
Yes, that's a really critical error, according to these teachings. Viewing emptiness as just a philosophical idea rather than a lived realization is said to lead towards nihilism.
Nihilism. How so?
Nagarjuna warns again. Those who consider emptiness to be a view do not understand its true meaning. If you just cling to the idea of no inherent existence or emptiness, it becomes another concept, another form of attachment.
So you turn emptiness into another thing to hold on to, ironically.
Exactly. You're trying to grasp the ungraspable with a concept.
Okay. And finally, the sources even mention criticisms of Mahamudra itself, like it could make you less smart or need special initiation. That sounds a bit worrying.
Right, those criticisms exist historically, but the argument in our sources is that these stem from misunderstanding the practice or from incorrect practice.
Ah, so it's not the teaching, it's the application.
Precisely. Incorrect practice of anything can lead to problems, right? Bad driving doesn't mean cars are inherently bad. It's about the execution, the proper understanding and application of the instructions.
Got it. Okay, so we've navigated the labyrinth of what not to do or what to be wary of. Let's talk about the right path then, this simple mind concept.
Yeah.
It sounds, well, simple, but probably isn't. What is it?
Yeah, the term simple mind in Tibetan, Thamalji Shespa, is easily misunderstood. People might think it means, a basic, undeveloped, maybe even deluded mind.
Right, like simple-minded.
But its actual root, often traced to the Sanskrit prakriti, means something more like natural state or ordinary state.
Natural state, okay.
So in the Mahamudra context, it means the mind's inherent luminous nature, the way it is before it gets clouded by emotional stuff and confused thinking. It's pristine, not primitive.
Pristine, not primitive. I like that. A crucial difference. What do the masters say about its importance?
Oh, it's central. The Tantra of gaining confidence in absolute suchness, for example, says, simple mind is the source of all spiritual benefits.
The source of all benefits. That's huge.
It is. And the Master Shariputra gives this beautiful advice. Simple mind, in its natural state, remains pure. Do not defile it by interfering with this state. Do not try to cling to it. Do not try to free it from anything. Just leave it in its natural state.
Just leave it alone. Don't mess with it.
Essentially, yes. A radical non-interference. Milarepa even warned that trying to conceptualize the simple mind keeps you deluded.
So trying to figure it out intellectually misses the point. Okay, what are its characteristics then? If we're not supposed to conceptualize it, how do we recognize it?
Well, Gampopa describes it. He says the simple mind isn't defiled by things like fixed philosophical views. It's not distorted by mental activities like grasping or pushing away, desire or aversion.
Yep.
And importantly, it's free from that laxity and excitement we talked about earlier. It always maintains awareness.
Always aware.
This realized simple mind, it has other names too, which helps paint a picture. Rigpa, primordial awareness, or natural wakefulness.
Rigpa. Heard that one.
Also, true reality, co-emergent wisdom, natural state, freedom from conceptual constructs, luminosity. They're all pointing to the same fundamental, clear, aware nature of mind.
Luminosity. I like that. It sounds bright and clear. Now, here's the bit that really blew my mind when reading the sources. It's not just the absence of concepts. It's not the opposite of thinking.
Exactly. This is so important. Gampopa clarifies it's not polluted by everyday processes of perception, meaning it's free from the distortion of seeing things dualistically, me here, world there, good thought, bad thought. It's not about stopping thoughts altogether.
So it's not about achieving a blank state. Because honestly, trying to do that feels like trying to hold back the tide.
Precisely. The simple mind is the very awareness through which all our thoughts and experiences happen. Trying to limit it to just no thoughts is falling back into that trap of acceptance and rejection, accepting silence, rejecting thoughts.
So it's about seeing the nature of the mind, even when it is thinking, moving, experiencing.
Yes. Seeing its fundamental nature as it is. Yengompa put it perfectly. Simple mind is the mind left as it is, in its natural state.
Left as it is. That sounds so liberating.
Yeah.
But if it's our natural state, why is it so hard to recognize? Why do we get so tied up in knots?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Many skilled meditators can describe states, concentration, bliss, whatever, but transmitting the actual experience, the direct recognition of the simple mind, that's rare.
It needs pointing out.
It often requires what they call pointing out instructions from a qualified teacher, and then it needs your own recognition. It's like truly understanding your fundamental nature.
And when that happens?
Then, the sources say, mental events start to self-liberate. Thoughts that used to hook you and cause suffering just arise and dissolve without leaving a trace, because you see their true, empty nature.
Wow. So it's not about battling thoughts anymore, but seeing through them.
Seeing their insubstantial nature, which, as you said, is a huge relief.
Absolutely. And that quote from Sampagyar, this mind of an ordinary person, is the essence of the Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya being The ultimate reality.
Yes, the ultimate nature of reality, the truth body. It connects the ordinary mind, right here, right now, to the ultimate potential. The extraordinary is hidden within the ordinary.
Okay, so for us learners, what does this mean for practice? If the simple mind is our true nature, how do we meditate on it? Do we just sit, try to be simple?
Well, Kandakopa again offers this really freeing perspective. There is no other meditation than abiding in the natural state of mind. This is the simple mind.
No other meditation, just abiding.
So meditation here means sustaining that recognition of the natural state, using mindfulness simply to notice when you've been distracted and gently return to that state of just being aware without judgment or manipulation.
It sounds almost too simple, which makes me think I'm missing something.
It is deceptively simple.
And it brings up that paradox you mentioned earlier. This self-illuminating mind cannot be found if one meditates, cannot be found if one refrains from meditation. So, what now? Do I meditate or not? Maybe I should just go eat that cookie.
It highlights that delicate balance, right? It's not about forceful, striving effort, but it's also not about just zoning out or being passive.
Right.
Shariputra's advice comes back here. Do not perceive anything as negative or flawed. Use everything as part of your spiritual path. Don't get obsessed with signs of progress. Don't beat yourself up. Don't get lazy. Just maintain awareness. It's a middle way.
Maintain awareness. Okay, so we're not supposed to meditate on anything specific then. No candle flame, no mantra, no breath counting in this specific context.
Correct. In this ultimate sense of Mahamudra practice, the sources say, when in a meditative state, one should not meditate on anything specific. The word meditation is just a label, a convention.
Just a label.
The key is not to cling to any experience, whether it's bliss or emptiness or thoughts dissolving. Don't reject them either. Just recognize their nature without getting involved, without labeling good or bad.
I remember you mentioned meditation with a trap, techniques that try to block thoughts or senses.
Indeed. That's seen as counterproductive here. Instead of stopping mental activity, you view it like waves on the ocean.
Part of the ocean itself.
Exactly. Inseparable from the mind's natural aware state. Thoughts aren't the enemy. They're just expressions of the mind's potential. You let them arise and dissolve naturally without interference.
This changes everything. It means you don't have to wait for quiet. You can meditate when your mind is busy, when things are chaotic.
Precisely. In Mahamudra, nothing is inherently an obstacle. Meditate with an active mind, a quiet mind, a mind full of sensations. Don't try to avoid anything.
Wow.
Gampopa confirms this. Whether we are in a state free from concepts or in a dynamic state of complex thinking, we must try to remain impartial, not labeling one state as good and the other as bad.
Remain impartial. No good or bad labels.
That's the path to this effortless, spontaneous meditation that ultimately can't be stopped because it's just resting in your natural state.
Okay, but for us beginners, does this mean we just leap straight into this? Because, effortless sounds great, but my mind often feels like it requires maximum effort just to sit still for 5 minutes.
That's a very fair point. For most people, yes, it involves progressive stages. You work through preliminary practices, you develop some stability. Shamatha is useful here. You gradually overcome doubts, you receive teachings to gain genuine insight.
So there's still a path, stages.
Absolutely. But Gampopa's ultimate wisdom kind of applies throughout. The core instruction, whether you're experienced or just starting, is to gradually stop trying to control the mind.
Stop controlling.
Let it be as it is, without forcing acceptance, without forcing rejection. When you can truly rest in that, meditation stops being a specific activity you do and becomes a natural, unceasing state. It becomes effortless.
Letting go of control.
Yeah.
That would be the hardest part, ironically.
It often is.
Wow. Okay, what a journey. We started off wading through all those potential meditation mix-ups, thinking concentration was the whole story, getting caught in the gap, even making emptiness into a concept.
Things that can easily happen.
Yeah, it's kind of comforting to know those are common detours. And we ended up here with this idea of the simple mind, not blank, but luminous, naturally aware, underneath everything.
The mind's inherent clarity and knowingness just waiting to be recognized.
And realizing that true meditation isn't about wrestling our thoughts into submission, but about seeing the nature of the mind, whatever it's doing, like embracing the waves as just part of the ocean.
Exactly. Allowing things to be without interference.
It feels like it transforms the whole idea from striving to arriving, realizing it's already here.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So for you, our listener, maybe the biggest takeaway to chew on is this.
What if the biggest hurdle on your path isn't actually your restless mind, or lack of discipline, or finding the perfect technique? What if the biggest obstacle is the very idea there is an obstacle you need to overcome? What if the whole path is simply about recognizing what's already present, right here, right now, in the fundamental nature of your own mind? Maybe the only thing in the way is the belief that something is in the way, something to think about,